You're listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, the show that invites you into the lives of people who make up the Ultra family. Here's your host for these conversations, Larry Ryan.
Thanks, MJ. Today's guest will give us a little behind the scenes of 515 racing, as well as share stories about how Ultra changed his life, how it gave him some of the best friends in the world, and how he now gives back. My next guest has 4 515 distance events under his belt. 2 at Ultraman Australia, dating back to the first events in 2015 and 2016, and 2 times in Hawaii. He has attended every Australia race and claims to get more out of being on the dream team than actually racing. His day job has him working with people as a gym owner and personal trainer. Joining me from his home in Melbourne, Australia, is the man known as Huddo, Peter Hudson. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. I see you're wearing your Australia gear, so you're repping the brand. You've spent a lot of years on the volunteer side after doing your first 2 races there, and we can get into some of that stuff with you as well. But just before we do that, I want to find out a little bit more about you. And usually what I like to ask people is, what was your life like before Ultra? What were you doing? What was it like? Were you into sports? Were you a typical footy guy in Australia? Were you a surf lifesaver? What did you do?
Yeah, so it probably was from juniors through to kind of mid-20s to 30 was football, so Aussie rules football. Never fantastic player, but managed to hold my own in the resis and the twos. Kicked a goal after the siren to win the game by a point. That was probably the highlight of my footballing career.
Nice.
Did that, and then a few injuries, few issues. Stopped playing sport for probably a number of years, and then maybe around 30-ish, early 30s, I got into triathlon just from a mate ringing me up the night before a race and saying, come try this out. So I went and had a go. I think I came maybe second last overall, something like that. But pretty much hooked from that point on. So it's been triathlon since.
Oh, yeah. So really the guy was going to the race already and just called you up and said, hey, why don't you come and have a race too?
Yeah, so we were there was the night before the race. He'd signed up and he said, I've got this race. I've entered you in it. And I said, oh, awesome. Like, let's get training. Don't really know what I'm doing, but I've got a bike. I just bought a bike maybe a little while, a couple of months earlier. I'd ridden 10 or 20K on it, an old 1982 Centurion. And I said, look, let's get training. You can teach me how to swim and I'll ride and do a bit of running. And he turned around and he said, mate, the race is tomorrow morning. So didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and pretty much straight into it from that point.
Right on. And what was the distances on that one?
So that was a sprint. So it was I reckon the swim was maybe 500. Ride obviously 20 and the run 5. I just remember kind of dog paddling I did maybe 2 freestyle strokes, put my head underwater, got hit by what I'd call a massive wave, which now I'd probably call a ripple. Kind of swallowed water and dog paddled with the lifeguard next to me for 500 metres. Last out of the water, and then on the bike and rode pretty well. Sat there going, all right, it's 20K. I can do that. And then jumped off the bike and tried to run, and just legs, had no idea. I've run 5K thousands of times in my life, and my legs just did not work. I had no idea what was going on. So, not prepared at all. Had footy shorts on for the swim, no wetsuit. Just, absolutely underprepared. Went in with no idea of what to expect, and kind of came away from it thinking I'm never going to do that again. But then, a week or 2 later, absolutely hooked.
I think, was it Shane Duffy that had a very similar first triathlon experience?
I think there's been a few people.
Uh,
Some people just tend to jump into the deep end, not knowing what to expect. So
yeah.
it's yeah, just it was a whole different ballgame to what I thought it would have been, and the distances split up sound easy. I've swum 500 meters in a pool before, but I reckon I've swum 25 meters and stopped for a minute, got my breath back, and swam 25 again. So it's yeah, whole completely different to what I thought it would be for such a small distance.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt O'Brien on another episode, and he had a similar where he had no swimming background. I said he can't be a true Aussie if he had no swimming background. He's like, yeah, I couldn't do 25 meters.
I think we just grew up around the ocean. We're playing ball sports on the sand, and we're jumping in the pools and playing around in the pool every day. But I don't like, unless you've actually like growing up like swimming lessons and whatnot. It'd be very rare for any of us to actually get out and train specifically for something like that and have a proper swimming background. You grow up by the beach, you might do nippers and things, but yeah, for me, obviously Maddie and probably a few others, it's literally we're around water all the time. We kind of learn to swim, but then we're 18 years old just doing bombs off the diving board sort of thing as opposed to actual swimming and technique.
Right. Yeah. With the idea that you got into triathlon, were you already working at the gym or owning a gym at that time? Or is that you were in triathlon and working out all the time and then you decided to open up the gym?
Yeah, so I had a personal training franchise from 2007, 2008. So I became a personal trainer in 2007, opened my first business 2008. Triathlon got into around about 2011, I think was the first one. So I had a few years running an outdoor personal training studio or personal training group before I kind of took that next level fitness to kind of half Ironman, Ultraman. The gym's been more recent, so that's probably since I stopped competing, I've been in the gym the last kind of 2 years, and there's always a view to try and get back to doing what we did when we were younger. But yeah, ideally, I would like to see myself one day being back there and having a crack at Ultraman again. At the moment with the gym, it's just been hectic, a lot busier than I would have expected it to be. So there's been probably a lot less training over the last year or two. Probably the last 5 years, if I'm honest, just, COVID hit and everything else that was going on in life. So still trying to keep fit, keep healthy, but probably not so much the level that I would have been at 5 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And how was COVID for your business?
Oh, terrible, mate. I reckon I went from 80-ish members down to about 14 or 15. So I've managed to kind of grabbed one or two here and there, lost one or two, but kind of kept that same core group that I've had for 10 to 15 years with a couple of additions. Yeah. So and they've been absolutely fantastic, absolute lifesavers from that respect in terms of sticking around. Some of them have trained with me since 2008. So like that's kind of 18 years that they've been with me now, that whole time.
And are you still bringing new stuff to these guys, or are they just looking for an accountability partner?
I try and say to people, like, the whole idea is variety. So we always say, unless we're using like a measuring tool for a session, we try and vary the session all the time. So you try not to do the same session twice. So I'm sure even just mixing things up and that over the course of 18 years, I probably actually have done almost the exact same session twice without even meaning to. But yeah, for the most part, like it's something new all the time, unless we're actually going out for like a 4K time trial or something where we're specifically measuring how they've improved over the last couple of months.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, for the most part, always something different. Yeah.
Well, can I ask you, like, you were there for the first Australia, the Ultraman Australia in 2015, and competing at that race. Did you know what to expect when you signed up for that race? And what was it about it that now, going 11 years later, you're still going to that race every year?
It's just first up, I mean, it's absolutely changed my life. It's probably as much as anyone else out there. Had no idea what to expect going into it. I try and make a point now of actually saying to people, and we talk to the athletes beforehand in the lead up, and just say, look, I think you guys are going into this, you're thinking that it's a race, you're competing against other people. You're going to find out very quickly that you're actually all in this together. Everyone's there to help each other. There's races that I wouldn't have finished if it wasn't for other people's crews. There's there's a story about, off topic slightly, but it's Hawaii, so the world champs, and Dave Kalinowski is up against Mike Coughlin for 1 and 2 in the world, and Mike Coughlin gets a flat tyre, and Dave Kalinowski's crew sees him and goes, all right, well, Dave's coming second, Mike's coming first. Like, they could have just left him on the side of the road for 25 minutes and Dave could have comfortably won a world championship title. They've helped Mike and got him back on the road within minutes. And for something like that to happen in a race is like anywhere else in the world, it's just unheard of. So it just shows you sort of what Ultraman is and kind of the way that people care about each other within that race. So you kind of come in as strangers and you compete as friends, or you compete as athletes, and then you leave as family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a wonderful sentiment of the Ultraman motto that, over those 3 days, you just see the people coming in, and some are coming in with just fear, and some are coming in with wonder, and some are coming in with the grit and determination of going out and racing their best. But at the banquet, at the end, everybody's just got their arms around each other, and it's a different group. Yeah,
absolutely. And the story, like this, just the different walks of life, the things that people are, I feel like, there's a few people that go into it and they're athletes and that's what they've done all their lives and they're in it to win it. But just the stories that for most of us, like mine was my mum passing away. We've all had some, I feel like we've all had some sort of trauma, and it's almost like you need that in your life, something happening in your life to actually get to the point where you can put your body and put your mind through what you're actually doing for that 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So some people come in, they're in it to win it, they're racing, that's what they've done. But for most people, it's, someone might have lost 20 kilograms, someone's broken up, divorced and found themselves, someone was drug addict or alcohol and got sober and found fitness. And it just happened that this is kind of say it's an addiction, more of a healthy addiction than the other stuff, but that's what they've used and the trauma to actually get through. So the stories on day 4 are just absolutely unbelievable. And a lot of the time you don't hear anything about that, and people will be very quiet about it until that time. Mm-hmm. And then you hear that story and just realise just what they've gone through to actually get to that finish line.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I do this podcast is when people come on and they share their backgrounds and we get to know them a little bit better, and we do an athlete in profile, and, we get to know who these people are that are coming to the race and why, what's their motivation. And like you said, all of those stories you've mentioned, I've had 4, 5, 6 different people come on it and tell that story for each of those different stories. Yeah.
There's some absolutely amazing, background stories and things like that. And that's why we talk about now before the race. I think I said earlier, we talk to athletes before and just try and say to people, introduce yourselves, get to know each other, because you're going to be spending a lot of time out on course. It might be different people on different days and whatnot, but you appreciate it a lot more if you actually know a little bit about these people before they're actually racing. And again, you still see that at the end of the race, but to go into it and have people actually introduce themselves and get to know each other before the race and meet and kind of chat back and forth about how training's going and all that is just a sensational way to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why the race preview podcast is always one of the highest rated. Is people do want to know who the other people are that they're racing against before they get to the race. And I've come from a crew background. I've not raced the 5:15 distance, but like you were saying, even all the crews, like you're leapfrogging with one another all day long. And yeah, like you said, maybe your athlete's a strong swimmer or they're a strong biker or they're a strong runner. So you're going to get different crews on different days that you get to meet, and just hanging out on the side of the road and getting to know them is the magical part of what this race brings.
It's the one thing I haven't done yet, mate. I haven't crewed at one of these because it's too hard. The racing, 12 hours maximum. You're done. Everyone's looking after you. You're doing what you enjoy doing. You're swimming, you're riding, you're running.
Yeah.
The volunteering is, mate, we've had some 20-hour days.
Yes.
Like we are literally up at 4 a.m. and we're packing up at midnight or later to get ready for the next day. And then crewing, just I'm too scared to actually do it because I'm sitting there going, that's someone else's race in my hands. And I just don't know if I'm actually good enough and fit enough and smart enough to actually help someone get through that. So the crewing, one day I will.
Yeah.
But so far, it's the one thing I haven't done.
You would be a fantastic crew member. You have a ton of knowledge to share. You'd be perfect for it.
I'll just be able to hand off bananas because I know to give them off at the top of the hill, not the bottom of the hill. That's about as good as I go with crewing, I reckon.
Well, when we speak about Australia, or in your case, Ultraman Australia, as you raced it, what was your highlight as an athlete?
Probably just finishing each day, getting out of the water. Like I said, swimming wise, I wasn't a great swimmer. I've got a few issues with my vision. Contact lenses, corneal transplant. So I was kind of told there's stuff that I couldn't do. Swimming was one, riding was always going to be an issue as well, just with the wind in my eyes and whatnot. So just finishing for me was the highlight, the absolute highlight, probably going to a World Championships. I never thought I'd be able to do World Champs at any sport, let alone one of the toughest kind of ultra endurance events there is. Then, on top of that, I've got 4 nieces and nephews. I've carried 3 of them across the line at different races. So there's one that I haven't done yet that it kind of keeps me thinking that at some point I've got to do another one just for that. But being able to cross the finish line with my crew and my niece and my 2 nephews is absolute highlight of my life.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know Jeff is listening. So Jeff, make sure that Huddo trains up somebody to do his work and let him race again.
There's quite a few people that can do my job. Won't be very hard to find someone that can go out and sit on the corner on day 1 and day 2. So it wouldn't be too hard to find a replacement for me, I don't think.
Do you have a highlight as a volunteer? All these years from 2017 to 2025, what's been like the most memorable thing being the volunteer?
Probably not one. There's just I miss the finish lines of a lot of athletes the first few years because I was out at day 3 turnaround. Just being able to be at that turnaround on day 3 and saying to people like, that's a marathon done. You're on your way home now. Just to see everyone's face and see how much they're hurting at that point and still getting themselves to the finish line. Seeing people actually finish on day 3 now, I can get back there in time and get to watch people do that. Helping people. I love settling nerves before the race. Everyone comes in and we go through a line in registration. You sort of move through. You get your race kit. You get your band on. It's all starting to turn real. Merchandise, and then they come round to me and I kind of go over the 3 maps. There are 3 days of the maps, and just some of the people in there are just you just don't know what to expect. They see these maps and they've got no idea. Their crews are asking, where do we go? What do we do? Just to be able to settle some nerves and not even talk about that, but just to kind of talk to, like, let people know that they're not by themselves when they're racing. There's always going to be someone around. People are going to help each other, and they kind of walk away from it going like, I was absolutely myself at this point, and you've kind of calmed my nerves, and now I want to get started. I'm excited. So in terms of volunteering and that, the highlight, listen to the stories on day 4, and just kind of calming people in the lead up to it is just awesome. Changing people's lives like mine was. Right. Being able to step behind the scenes and go, all right, I know what it meant to me to finish. That's awesome. It's one person. To do that to 50 people every year gives me goosebumps. Just unbelievable feeling. Best feeling in the world.
Yeah. And I know that's why everybody on the dream team keeps coming back. I mean, Jeff's got such a solid crew of people that are always there working because they've had that experience. I know Eric is racing this year, so that's one off the team. But it's going to be a fantastic year again come May when everybody's out there on the course. And I'm looking forward to doing the live stream again and working with all of you. Hopefully we get you on camera a little bit more this year.
Mate, we talk about that all the time now. It's like that was just for you to get through that 3 days of that from the other side of the world was absolutely phenomenal effort. So, like, we're up at 4 a.m. until kind of 10 p.m. or midnight. I think you must have been going through like just unbelievable, complete change in your lifestyle for 3 or 4 days while you're doing it, and then probably another week afterwards. Like, we find it takes a week to recover volunteering. So I don't know what you went through after that.
Yeah. No, it was definitely its own ultra experience, as in with the time changes as well. So yeah.
Did you get a medal?
I got a trophy. If you look over my shoulder here,
you deserve a trophy. I can't. Yeah, there you go. You did too. I hadn't even noticed that. That's awesome. Yeah, you definitely deserve one. And young Benito running around. So Benyat,
yes, like, he was amazing.
We were laughing our heads off at point. I don't know if you know the story of. I think he did tell it. He was got out of his car and he wanted to follow someone for about 1 kilometre, and he ended up running for about an hour. And he was like, "Oh no, my car!" And someone actually pulled up with his car, and he said to him, like, "What happened? How did you drive it? How did you get it?" You know, they turn around, they go, "Mate, you jumped out of the car, you left it running with the keys." And he goes, I just got carried away. So he ran for an hour away from his car. Someone from a crew jumped in the car, drove it 10K to him and gave it back to him. But that was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, he just did not stop for 3 days.
No. Yeah, he made a very big difference in what that live stream was. Because we had planned to have 2 people doing that job. And I think one got recruited to do something else race related. And so he ended up being the only one. So yeah. And I know he's coming back again this year to hopefully help out a little bit. And then he's going to be supporting an athlete on day 3.
Yeah. So we're going to have to find someone else for, I think he ended up running 84K.
Yeah.
So, he should be all right.
You better not answer Jeff's emails for a while. He might be looking at you.
Yeah, I might be looking at the phone calls now and just not answering that one too.
We will be right back to my conversation with Huddo, but I want to break in here for just a minute to give you a preview of how the guest on my next episode answered the question, what was your life like before Ultra?
And then I went on my OE, so overseas experience in New Zealand, tend to go to the UK. I actually had a really good time. I was working in a seafood restaurant in Mallaig, which is where the Harry Potter train finishes up in Scotland. And I was really drunk at this pub called the Steam Inn. And because it was a coastal town, a lot of the fishing boats would come in to drop off fish they'd caught for the day and then stay the night and then go back out. And I remember saying to some of the skippers, I've always wanted to be on the deadliest catch. And then the last thing I remember is sending my mum a selfie saying, I'll talk to you in 30 days, I'm off to sea. So I was living out of a backpack. I'd packed my bag. I don't remember this, but I packed my bag and I went with, his name was Lee. I went on to his boat, and the next thing I know, I wake up and it's pitch black, except in the corner of the boat, there's a little bit of light coming from the roof. And it was really hot and I had no idea where I was, but I went over to the light and climbed up the stairs, and I was 40 miles into the North Sea on a 6-week journey to catch some scallops.
That backpacking adventure came compliments of Brittany Litton. She will be the athlete in profile on the next episode of the podcast, dropping March 20th. And that wasn't even the craziest story. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any of these amazing people sharing their stories, be sure to follow the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can do that right now, just like Mary Jo says at the end of each episode. All right, back to my conversation with Huddo. Well, let's move on to your second race of 2015. You talked about it a little bit. You said going to Hawaii and being in a world championship was like a super big deal for you. And that was a really big year at Hawaii because there were a lot of the OGs in the field there, a lot of big guns, a lot of people that had some really good races under their belts already. As you mentioned, Canadian, Mike Coughlin won that year. I've had him on as a guest too in season 2. But the big story out of 2015 obviously was the 2 crashes that happened, and you were a part of one of those with Scott McDermott. Scott had been working on a documentary about doing the race, doing Ultraman Hawaii, and he didn't know that this was the way the documentary was going to turn out. As most documentary people do, they start filming and they see what it becomes. But it obviously became more than just about what it is to do that race. So I'm going to play a little clip from his documentary. It's called Living the Warrior Code, and it's available on YouTube. It's free. It's there. Fantastic video. So if people are watching this on YouTube or listening and they want to go back, Scott came on the podcast as well and talked about it. So you can go back and listen to Scott talk about the documentary by himself. So I want to play a little clip, and then we'll come back and we'll get your reaction to it.
Yep.
As you come up to these bridges, there's a footpath and there's a road, and so I'm going the road. I looked up, I saw Scotty's gone the footpath, and then I just heard this sickening, just this thud. And Scotty just went down right in front of me, probably doing 60, 70k an hour.
He sort of launched off the footpath of the bridge, but then onto the road. It was like the bike had just slid out.
I was off the bridge, on the other side of the bridge, before I could stop the bike. Jumped off, ran back, and yeah, he was just wedged in the gutter.
It was like he was twisted, but his head was twisted the complete opposite way. And my immediate reaction was, he's broken his neck.
It's just blood bleeding from the head, and Foxy was already there, had already stopped, and I think he might have even said, like, I think he's dead.
I didn't think he was going to survive that crash.
I came up, I'm not sure exact time frame, but it seemed like it was within probably 30 seconds of when the accident occurred. Immediately was managed to kind of get my head around the vision of the cars and see that there was an athlete laying on the ground. And when I came upon him, I thought that was the last I saw of Scott. I thought he was gone. I didn't think there's any way someone laying in that much blood would recover from that. You wanna not believe that's the case, and I was really happy to see when he started to make some movement.
He tried real hard to get up at one point, and we just had to hold him down. And then he was just back to lights out.
We kind of thought, well, he should be here by now. And of course you start thinking, well, you know, Peter was there, and so was Adam and Gary. okay, if one of them had a flat and one of them's helping or whatever, why is all four of them stop?
So I kind of put my finger in his hand, closed his hand around me. I just said, if you can hear me, squeeze my finger. And it was like the lightest squeeze that I've ever felt. It was like a little, not even a little baby. It was just a little tiny squeeze, but you sort of knew he was there.
So we got out of the van and we're sort of looking back.
So we did discuss before that I was going to be playing some clips for you. Tell me what that means to watch that back now and what it was like at the time.
Well, I still struggle watching that. I reckon I've watched that doco 15 times, probably more. And I can't kind of sit through the crash scene still. I think I've watched it twice and kind of just takes me straight back to it. I just remember like we're having a great day and Foxy and I were sort of back and forth 50, 100 metres away from each other. I was a bit sore. I'd push to keep up with him. He'd turn around and go, Huddo, my back's wrecked. I'd say, look, just kind of stick near me, keep me in your sight and we'll get through this. And, yeah, kind of come up with Scott and just chatting to him, chatting away, just like we're having an absolute ripper time. This is unbelievable. And then, I think I said, like in the doco, I'm like, we've only got a half Ironman to go, like 90K and we're done. And he hammered it. And then just right in front of us, he just went down and, we got back to him and it was like a horror scene. It was, there was blood everywhere and he wasn't moving. I remember the weird thing the only thing I remembered from it for a long time was I couldn't get my phone out of I had my phone on so my crew could follow me sort of thing and just in case. And I couldn't pull it. I think I must have gloves on, whatever, a plastic cover. I couldn't ring. I couldn't use my phone. And a car stopped. And I remember yelling out to a car, call 911. And like in Australia, it's 000.
Yeah.
And so call 911, call 911. And that was like, for a long time, that was sort of the only thing I remembered about it was being able to actually, I got that right somehow. But just kind of, I didn't, never even thought about it and just said that. And then, Foxy and I obviously came up and trying to help him. Gary Wang was there as well. And, he was just out of it. And then a couple of times he kind of like forcing himself up. And someone had said that people try and do that when they've had a kind of traumatic injury. They kind of regain consciousness. They get up to go like, I'm all right. We're like just trying to hold him down. And then he just go again. And it felt like, it felt like forever. Mm-hmm. Like we were just there. And obviously ambulance came, got him away, took him away. I wasn't going to go. Foxy wasn't going to go. And I think it was Doug came up and just said, like, you guys just keep, like, you've got to go. You've got time. You can do this. Just, go easy, get through. And we kind of took off together and, finished arm in arm at the end of the day too. I just had an amazing bond with Scotty and Foxy from that time. I remember the funny thing was as well, like we're going, I think it's the Kahalas, like the last 20K or whatever, and the wind was blowing just crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying to Foxy, like, we've had enough, let's just hold back. I think Gary and Stacey were in front of us and we could watch them and they were sort of every kilometre or two, Stacey get blown across the road, like a metre or two. And we were like, all right, well, there's a break in the trees. Let's just prepare for it because we're like, the last thing we want now is another accident. And then about a kilometre from the end, this like pit bull dog just come running out and started trying to nip at Foxy. So we got through, we like kind of finished and we were like, survived that obviously. And looking back on it now and just the bond that we kind of have with Scotty and his crew and just the race overall, just absolutely amazing. It was a terrible time. And like I say to people at the time, I'll never remember what time I got for any of my races. Two of them were, I think, 20 seconds apart overall. But the two Australian ones, so I couldn't tell you what the time was, but you'll always remember like the people and the things that happened through the race.
Yeah. And that was a very scary accident. And it wasn't even the only accident, because Christian Isaacson also went down on that day. When you're there and then you kind of like just force yourself to get to the finish line, what was it like at the finish line on the end of that day, at the end of day 2 there? What was the vibe?
It was actually a really weird one because like you'd expect that with everything that went on. I don't think we even knew about Christian at the time. It was just it was all just Scotty. Yeah. I remember getting off my bike and it was like I hadn't raced, and like the other 2015 and every 150 to 200 kilometre ride that I'd ever done, I get off the bike and I'm absolutely cooked and my legs are killing me. I struggle to get off the bike. I remember just kind of jumping off the bike and walking over to Foxy and eventually just going to have a shower and stuff, and like not even feeling not even feeling the physical effects of it, not even realising that we'd actually gone and ridden almost 300 kilometres. Mm-hmm. Kind of everyone was just in shock, and it still hadn't really hit me what had happened. Like we're in the, I think it took months to actually get back to where I kind of wanted to do anything like that again, and kind of learnt to kind of deal with it. But yeah, it was really surreal. Like that was it for me. It was, I'll get up the next day and we'll run if we run, but like kind of nothing else mattered at that point.
Right. Yeah. And then last year at Australia, there was the accident with John DeMandel as well. He's a blind athlete, and him and his pilot, Daniel, went down not once, but twice.
Yeah.
And their second one was a fairly serious accident as well. And I know the Dream Team was kind of on the scene and stuff like that and dealing with it right away. Was there anything like when you were thinking about John that you were relating back to that previous experience, or how did that play out for you last year?
I think like there's a funny story about John. I'll tell you in a sec. Just remind me about that one. But I think for me, like just the roads, wherever we go, wherever you're going to race, you're racing, you're riding 150 to 275 kilometres. You can't ride through nice streets and busy towns. You're out on back roads. So day 2, whether you hear about a crash or there is a crash or anything, it's for me, I don't know if it's more than others, but I'm really struggle with day 2. Find it really hard. I'm just happy when everyone gets off their bike. Day 3, like throw the bike away, you're running, you're fine. Yeah. But yeah, day 2, a little bit day 1, but day 2 it's a scary day for me. It's a really draining day. Just until everyone kind of comes home safe. With Johnny, that was like the fact that he got back on. There's a couple of things with him where the fact he got back on after crashing the first time and rode again. The fact that if we crash, we kind of have a split second at least to realise what's going on. Yeah. Johnny doesn't know until he's on the ground that he's going to be on the ground. Like to be doing the speeds that he does and like the way that he rides and stuff is just unbelievable. Because I was actually day 1, 2015, I was behind him. I was in front of him coming down a massive hill, a lot of switchbacks, and they came flying past him and his pilot. And by the time I got halfway down the hill, I could see him at the bottom, and he was like a kilometre down the road on the straight. So they're doing speeds like 100 kilometres an hour, and try doing that with your eyes closed, not knowing what's going to happen. So yeah, for him to get up after the first one is amazing. But then, just that crash was absolutely terrible on day 2. But then for him to go to hospital and the nurse said to him he had bandages all over both legs and arms, and she goes, "Oh my God, like, and now what's happening?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry about that. That was yesterday's crash." I was like, that was absolutely phenomenal. That was awesome. I laughed my head off when I heard it. He still had a sense of humour even after that.
Yeah, and for me, I'm on the other side of the world, and I got to experience him coming to the day 2 finish line. It was like 10 minutes after 12 or something, and him and Daniel showing up and walking over the finish line, and everybody there like just so happy to see that they got out of the hospital. Even if he shouldn't have left the hospital, I don't know if he should have left the hospital, but it was like a really great emotional moment. And I think it was one of the ones that really showed the power of the live stream as well, because everybody was able to share in that. And we talked about Banat earlier. He was really good about it. Like my instinct would have been to run over to him with the camera. And Banat was like, "I'm just going to hang back." And he's talking quietly. "I'm just going to hang back over here." And it's like, gave them their time. And it was like, it was a great moment to see.
That's something that the 50 people that were there might have seen if it wasn't for you guys actually being there with the live stream. But then you bring it to thousands of people worldwide to see just what it means to someone to actually kind of still cross that finish line, whether he's on his bike or not, but to get up and get down and do it. Like you said, he probably could have stayed in hospital for the night and walked up the beach on day 3 and done it. But to see him on day 2 and just to know that, like, he's not all right, but he was all right, was just it kind of put everyone's mind at ease going into day 3 as well. I think it was made everyone feel a little bit better and just grateful that they could actually still get up and compete on day 3 when this has happened to someone else that's put in so much work.
Yeah.
He's also promised his pilot that he'll pilot Dan next year, so Dan can sit on the back of the bike and Johnny will actually ride it.
Well, getting back to Scotty's story for the people that haven't seen the doc before, his recovery was much longer. He didn't come to that finish line at the end of day 2, and there was a real struggle for him. Part of what he knew he was doing, he was working on trying to get back to racing the 5:15 distance again and going back to Hawaii. And there's a part in the documentary where during his recovery, he goes to Coeur d'Alene. And it's a big moment for him. I want to play that one for you as well. I'm sure you've seen it.
Scott McDermott, Sylvan Lake, Alberta. You're an Ironman, Scott.
That's for Peter and Adam and Lyle. I had them with me the whole day. I was thinking of Peter and Adam and Lyle and Gary and everybody that was with me on the crash, even like you and Doug and all the things everybody did. Molly and Jen, everybody. I had them in my heart all day. Oh my God.
So he was carrying you with him all through his recovery. When you watch that, what does that kind of mean to you, and how do you feel that connection goes back and forth?
I feel like, I say it was never in doubt, just knowing who he was. There was obviously times where he could have easily given up and not gone back and just kind of almost blamed the crash and said, look, that's it, I'm done. The fact that he actually got to the point where he could go and do it again is absolutely amazing. For us to kind of play a small part in that is, very, humbling, rewarding, whatever you want to call it, where, just can't really explain kind of what it means. When he actually crashed, I found a bracelet, and it was just on the side of the road. It was broken and the clip was off. And for some reason, I picked it up. It was about 100 meters from where he actually ended up. And I was like, I don't know why. I just picked it up, and it said Relentless. in like the little squares. It was spelled out Relentless.
Like a Taylor
I was
Swift
like, that's
friendship bracelet?
yeah, like that. And I was like, this is definitely Scotty's. Like it was weird. I went over and I put it on Lyle. I said, here you go, like take this. I'm pretty sure that's Scotty's. And kind of just that's his attitude. Like he's relentless. So once he sets his mind on it and he knew he was going back, like he worked his backside off to get to that point. And kind of once he knew he was going back, then there was no way that I wasn't going back myself as well. And Foxy managed to come over too. Mm-hmm. So just to have both of them there for 2018 was absolutely unbelievable. But to see Scotty race again and to actually finish was just one of the highlights of my Ultraman life.
Yeah. So in 2018, just to bring this full circle for the people that are just getting the story, he did come back to Hawaii. He did complete. You went and competed with him and Adam Fox, the other voice in that clip. And I'm going to play you one more clip. This is kind of the reunion of you guys back in Hawaii.
And in a little over a week, I'm going to be here again for the race. And if this island and Pele will just allow me safe passage, that'll be pretty cool.
I raced again in Ultraman Australia 2016, 6 months later, and I rode once on the road between World Champs and Ultraman Australia. I got on my bike once. So, wasn't keen on getting back on the bike and wouldn't have done it any other time. As soon as I heard Scott was coming back, I was like, there's no way I could miss this.
There he is! Buddy!
For many of us, it was a life-changing moment, and I've come back to see him complete it. And I just want to be there at that finish line. I'll see him on day 3 and finish and give him a big hug.
So what was it like to finally get that reunion and have him finish and you finished on the same day?
No, absolute highlight. So we'd obviously talked about it for a while and he did everything that he could to get back there. Just to be able to toe the start line with him and to see him actually get to the start line was phenomenal. To be able to kind of manage to finish in front of him a couple of times. I got to see him cross the finish line on day 2, which, if you remember, was they changed the course with the volcano.
Right.
And the eruption and the course change, and it was absolutely brutal day. Like I'm normally around about a 9.5 hour day 2, I think it is. And I was at 11.5 hours, and like there were a number of people that DNF'd on day 2 just with the brutality of the course. To see Scotty at times was struggling to make it, but to actually cross that line on day 2 was absolutely, just one of the most emotional times of my life. I think that was absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And with memories like that, I can see why you've stuck around this event, around the 515 World, is because it would change your life. Even if you didn't have the experience of the 515 the way most people experience that changes their lives. This, for you, sharing this near-death experience of a fellow athlete is gotta have changed your life just all on its own.
Yeah, I think just for me, even like going to the World Champs was something I didn't think I'd ever do. Finishing the first race where kind of, it was not uneventful, but there was nothing like that involved, and that still like kind of, if it hadn't already lit a fire in me, just absolutely lit a fire in me and just made me want to be a better person. He's surrounded by people that want to help people that want to lift people, see people finish, see people succeed. And like, I mean, that can be pretty rare in everyday life and general community. So the fact that everyone there wants everyone to do as well as they can, if that doesn't make you want to help or make you want to change your life, then kind of nothing's going to.
Yeah. And that's kind of it goes back to one of the reasons why you race as well, and in helping other people, because you always do it with a cause in mind as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I lost my mum almost 20 years ago now in 2006, February. Probably kind of lost my way a little bit after that. Had some pretty dark times and had good support around me. Obviously, like family and that, we're all very close. My brother, my sister, my dad, and like all my friends and whatnot. So I was never went too far one way, but I could have very easily. I've got that sort of personality where I was kind of going towards that. I could have gone one way or the other. So right. When I started doing the triathlon and stuff and Ironman, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was awesome. I love the training side. I don't even care that much about the racing. Like, I just love getting fitter and kind of exercising. But what I found was, like, it was just easy to get out, and I felt more committed to doing things when I was doing it for someone else. So the second I started fundraising, everything just became a little bit easier. Like, someone donate $20 and I go, I'm doing this for Cancer Council, for Bowel Cancer Australia. Like, I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for something bigger. And that, like, to turn around at the end of the day and raise, I think, over $10,000 3 or 4 times is like, that's just really rewarding to me, more than crossing the finish line myself or anything like that, but actually having an effect. And like they say, like, even the smallest ripple can start the wave. So yeah, just $10,000 fundraising. Hopefully it builds over time. We do something else soon, but yeah, it's sort of more the bigger pictures, the fundraising and things like that for me, as opposed to what I get out of it just myself.
Mm-hmm. And at one point, did you also do a solo double iron just for a fundraiser? Was that just you doing your own thing, or did you go into an official double iron?
Yeah, so that was just me doing my own thing. That was on the anniversary of Mum's passing. So February 10's always been a pretty tough day for me. So I kind of wanted to make it a better day, have a positive spin on it, sort of thing. It's never going to be a good day, but put something positive on it. So I went out and organised a solo double iron distance for bowel cancer, and managed to do that on the 10th of Feb 2017. So as it turns out, it's funny because I get the memories come up every year, but I don't even. It's still Mum's passing. That's still the day that it is. So right. I see the memories and that, and I go, oh, that's pretty cool. But if I was going to do something like that again, I'll probably actually pick a different day, because for what I was trying to do it for, it didn't actually really change it. It's still a very tough day. It's nice to have the positive aspect of it, but it's still Mum's passing. It's still her day.
Yeah. Well, let's transition into this year's race of Australia. I know that you guys work basically 11 and a half months a year planning this thing. I think Jeff allows you to have 2 weeks off somewhere in there as an official vacation, so that he doesn't have to pay you vacation days. But what have you guys been doing behind the scenes this year to prepare for the race that people would be interested in hearing about?
It's actually hilarious you say that, because I usually stay up in Noosa for 4 or 5 days after the race. So I kind of come home on the Saturday or the Sunday, and I spend 3 or 4 days just downtime and chilling and kind of get my breath back from what's been going on for especially the last week, but the lead up to it as well. This year, Jeff, it was a great idea. We all said we'd all stay together and just chill. Obviously, they announced New Zealand and at Ultraman Australia. So we literally spent the 4 days after the race just getting ready, trying to finish off Australia, start with New Zealand, because we were all there and we could all actually chat. So it wasn't until I got home I actually needed a holiday from my holiday. So that was a very intense couple of days up there after the race. And it's just sort of been similar, like Jeff will ring us if he needs something, if he feels like it's great of him that he asks for our opinion on things. He'll make decisions that he has to make, but he also really values our input, which is absolutely amazing. So we're always talking about something. There's always something to do. There's always something in the works that we're kind of planning on or chatting about, and it'll kind of start to ramp up again now in the next kind of 3 or 4 months before the race.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, with the dream team being pretty tight and coming back year after year, can you share a couple of your favorite stories with the other volunteers? Who are your tightest friends? Who are the ones that now that you have this platform, you want to tell a story about?
Probably can't tell my 4 or 5 favorite stories. There's have been some absolute ripper times that we've had up there. I've made lifelong friends with the dream team. I've got obviously, like, Dale started it off, and then Mel and Jeff's come on board and just kind of taken it up to that next level. I've had great experiences with all 3 of them over the years as well. Jason Clark is one of my closest friends now. I've been involved with him with like 10 Ultramans, and just knowing that I'm going to get up there and see him for a week just lights me up, just gets me ready to go. Shay's been involved with all of them pretty much as well. She's crewed for me in each of my races and the double Ironman. So she's one of my closest friends. Jeff, Tim, Jill, Tiff, the list goes on. There's Steve-O. I timed my flight to Brisbane so that I can drive Steve King to Noosa when he commentated. And just the 90 minutes in the car with him as a normal conversation, it's like he's commentating the race and things while he's just having a chat, and just to be able to pick his brain and just listen to the stories that he has. Absolutely amazing human being. And like I said earlier, everyone wants everyone to succeed. So, like, people just don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We've had days where people would think, oh, that was a smooth day, everything went really well, and we're behind the scenes probably trying not to kill each other at one point, but then also working together to make sure, because it's such a good team, that it just gets done.
Yeah.
So, not too many stories I can probably share, but there's definitely a lot of memories involved with each and every one of them.
Yeah. And it seems like you're all like the best high school friends too, where you can all rib each other a little bit and have a good time. And, like when I came in and started doing the live stream, it was like right away, it's like, you got to give some, cause you're going to take it. So you got to, like, that's part of the
try
part
and
of the
give more
fun.
than you take.
Yeah.
But then you try and give it, and then you got 6 people giving it back to you. So you always end up on the receiving end more than you do on the giving end. I will tell one quick story. So last year, this kind of just probably shows the emotions of it. So last year, we rocked up on day 4. We had the banquet. We had the speeches. I was sitting outside. I got a text message saying, your uncle's unwell. He's probably got 48 hours left. And so I was pretty down. I went inside and I sat with Jace behind the thing, and I told him, and he sort of said, look, just stay here, and you can just hide. You don't have to do anything. And I don't reckon it was 10 minutes after that, Jeff was up on stage and he's talking. Such and such every year. Okay, well, there's only 10 of us that have been kind of around for most of it. He's done this and he's done that. And I'm like, well, there's only 3 or 4 of us that have competed and done the volunteering. And then he said this, made another comment, and I was like, oh, that's me. Like, what the hell's going on? And then he named this award, the Huddo. And I had to get up, and I was a recipient of it. The first Huddo award for, like, it's basically just a longevity award for someone that's been there. So I got up and I accepted it, and I can't even remember if I spoke. I sat back down, and I was like, it was just an amazing honour to have an award named after me, which is being presented every year. And I sat with Jason, I'm like looking at it and I'm crying, and he's got his arm around me crying, like, this is amazing. You've had an award named after you. And while we're looking at the award, my phone dinged and my uncle passed away.
Wow.
So it was like just the low to the absolute high to the absolute low within about the space of like half an hour. Absolutely amazing. But it's kind of like, that's almost what the day just brings out. Even without that happening, the stories and that you hear, it's just the emotional side of it is just absolutely unbelievable. The highs and the lows.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, I mean, you're surrounded by your best friends, so it was probably the best timing for that situation.
Yeah, no, having someone like that there, having Jace beside me at that time was probably critical. I was a little bit of a mess earlier, like sitting on the back steps. I think everyone thought I'd just been drinking too much. I was sitting out on the back steps crying as they all kind of came up the back of the awards ceremony. And I couldn't even explain it to anyone what was going on. So I kind of just left it, and I might have filtered around afterwards or whatever. But to have Jace there and the other guys as well, but to have their support there the whole time while I was going through that, definitely needed them there at that time. And it was awesome that it kind of, never a good time for it to happen, but if it was going to happen, at least I was around people that cared.
Yeah. That's the Ultra family for you.
Yeah.
Well, looking ahead now to this year, there'll be new stories. Hopefully, a little happier story for you. You'll get to present the Huddo to somebody this year. So it's going to be another great year. We are working together again, and we are going to live stream again the full 36 hours of racing plus on the front end and the back end and the awards. So I'm looking forward to that. We've worked out a couple of the bugs where I think for the people listening, the live stream is going to be a little bit better in that I'm just going to put the Zoom link out to the crews. So the crews will be able to just join in live and not have to send a video to me that I then have to process and put together. So I'm going to streamline that and see what happens when things just go live.
That's exciting. I'll make sure I'm definitely on there a little bit more for you this year than I was last year.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, under the brand, we're also looking forward to the New Zealand race in December.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So, again, people kind of have an idea of what to expect, but you never know what to expect. So it'll be based on the course and what we've seen, the videos that Jeff sent through and stuff. It's picturesque and just absolutely amazing part of the world. Don't know how much they're going to be enjoying it while they're climbing up 10 or 15 kilometre 5 to 10% gradient hills. But if you're going to do it, you're going to pick the nicest places in the world to do it. And Australia, Noosa, you've got New Zealand, you can't get much better than that.
Yeah. Well, Huddo, thank you very much for coming and sharing some of your racing experiences and the behind the scenes of your volunteer work that you now do with the Australia. Looking forward to see who is going to be able to pick up the Huddo Award this year. Do you get to vote on it? Have you been told?
Yeah, I do get to. So we actually awarded. So that was 2024. I won it. 2025, Shay Hamilton got it.
Oh, so that's right. Yes.
So she's been awarded it this year, and we did get to vote. I wanted to do a 3-2-1 from everyone, like a Brownlow medal, the best and fairest football medal that we have in Australia. But we kind of just everyone kind of put in their opinion, put in reasons why, and she was very well deserving. There were a couple of other people that definitely up in the running for it, and hopefully that becomes the one that everyone guns for from now on, as opposed to any of the other awards. So hopefully that's the one that we all talk about going forward. Awesome. I want to win it again.
There's no rule against that, right?
No, there's no rule, but I'm going to have to try very hard if I want to. I'm going to have to up my game because, as I said, I feel like I got mine because of longevity and just turning up every year, whereas
Right.
Shay got hers for probably sorting out 350 problems that arose over the course of the 3 days, and other people were out there. You know, some people are turning around and going, all right, I've got to go and run 50K with someone because they don't have a crew member. So, yeah, you got to do a fair bit to actually get it, hopefully.
Hey, Huddo, thanks a lot for taking the time out and taking the time away to come and chat with me and to share your stories with the listeners. And we'll be looking forward to all your hard work coming up in May and December.
Thanks so much for having me, mate. It's an absolute pleasure, and I love what you do. So just to be able to put our stories out and put everyone's stories out like you do and have the platform that you do, absolutely awesome. So very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, if you liked what you heard today, please tell a friend and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate it if you'd rate and review the show while you're there. Drop the names of the people you think we should interview and we'll get in touch with them and make that happen. Thank you for listening to 515, the Ultra Podcast, a production of 55 Enterprises. Now really, go subscribe now before you forget.